From their athleticism and competitiveness, motherhood to the push for social justice and change, the women of the W never cease to amaze, and we've got you covered from courtside to the outside. This is the Hardwood 94. Let's tip off. Welcome to the Hardwood 94. I'm your host, Jackie Ray. I hope everyone had a great weekend. And yes, I am just returning from my hot Vegas trip that found me covering the WNBA All-Star game, a few events, and yes, Usher's residency that will live rent-free in my head for the rest of my life. A lot to break down from the week and the weekend around the W. So let me first say congrats to the fans for showing up and showing out at the All-Star game, a completely sold out crowd that should give the league more momentum moving forward. The weekend started off with a bang. I had just enough time to touch down and then head over to the red carpet premiere of the Showtime documentary called Goliath, which is the story of the great Wilt Chamberlain. The 3-episode documentary is executive produced by NBA champion Kevin Garnett, and it was amazing to see stars come out and support the history of the NBA. It really was beautiful, but you didn't think I left the carpet without creating some type of mayhem, did you? It's me we're talking about. Take a look. All right, Glenn Big Baby Davis, you probably don't even remember me, do you? We were on the Mike and Donnie show together. Do you remember that?
Hey, how you doing, girl?
I'm doing good. How you doing? I have a very important question for you, though, because I heard you over here talking, and you said that Las Vegas needs a basketball team. Las Vegas don't have a basketball team?
Las Vegas.
Wait a minute. Las Vegas don't have a basketball team?
I'm talking about the men. They got a girls team that's doing great. I love everything.
Clean it up, Glenn. Clean it up.
Well, what's her name? AJA Wilson? Asia Wilson. Girl, look at your DMs, girl. You don't even look at your DMs.
Well, why would she if you can't say her name?
That's right. You're right. Don't look at it. I can't even spell your name right. But they got a great team. I like them. They tough girls. They play hard. But they was talking about the NBA.
Was they said basketball team. I didn't hear a specific.
They were talking about the NBA because the NBA talking about Vegas and Seattle or the teams, you know.
I'm giving you a hard time because you deserve it and you know that. Yeah. But, I appreciate you. So when you think about this film and what it means to the culture of the NBA, since that's what we're focusing on, what does it mean to you?
It means a lot to me because I love the game. You know what I mean? And also I played at like a center. You know what I mean? I was a little bit 3-4. But you think about all the myths about Wilt, the 20,000 women. You know what I mean?
Is that a myth?
Nah, I don't know. We about to see if it was a myth. I want to know. But things like that, right? Conan, right? You want to see kind of how him and Bill Russell were.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to see the history of that. He had a crazy style, right? His swag was different, right? Wilt was just a different guy.
I feel like the younger generation, they don't really know anything past Jordan. I feel like Jordan is where the history of the NBA stops. Do you think that the younger generation really needs to appreciate what Wilt really means to the game?
Yeah, most definitely. The ones that came before that paved the way, we got to know about those guys. You know what I mean? You think about how the way he affected the game. He changed the game in so many ways, So for us to now be able to have a true story to really this is dope, and to hear about Wilt Chamberlain, it's awesome.
Okay, you said her name wrong. Now it's okay. Asia. I'm gonna give you a chance to shoot your shot. Here
Asia Wilson, how you doing, girl? I need you to use that body a little bit more. Use them yams a little bit more. When you're down in the block, I'll be watching you. I love your game, girl. I'm going to try to, I hope I'm going to come to one of them games soon.
Y'all pray for Glenn Big Baby Davis because he did not know who he was messing with. I will always represent for the W. And you better put some damn respect on Asia's name, sir. I do have to admit, though, as a woman in this business, the best part of the night for me was speaking with Showtime host and veteran sportscaster Rachel Nichols about the documentary, her past controversy, and how she's conquered adversity. Take a look. Jackie Ray here with the legendary Rachel Nichols. I'm so glad to have a moment to speak with you. You're here for this amazing film.
Yeah.
What have you seen it already? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. There's not a lot of documentaries you see in sports where you don't at least know some of what's going on, right? And Wilt Chamberlain for so long has been this name that NBA fans know. He's got, I think, every record known to man. But he's just a name, right? He's a name with a bunch of numbers next to it and maybe some grainy footage and a photo. And like, that's what you know about him. You don't really know about him personally. You don't know his story. You don't have a sense of what those accomplishments meant because you didn't really see them. They're not in the modern like era of video. So to have a documentary that legit dives into who this person was, what he did, it's a gift if you're a sports fan because you kind of know everything about everyone else. You don't know about this guy. And he's one of the like totems. He's one of the greats. So that's pretty amazing.
It's interesting to me that a lot of players in the NBA truly fight against racism and they're pushing for change. And Wilt was definitely doing that.
Yep.
But a lot of them don't know about him. So what would you tell them about this film and why they should watch it?
I mean, look, for anyone, it's important to see whose shoulders you're standing on, right? Who came before you, what they had to fight through, how you can continue that legacy. You know, I know as a woman, and you know also as a woman who works in this field, there's a ton of women that we know paved the way for us.
Right.
That they didn't want girls covering sports. They didn't want women in this arena having these conversations. And it's important to know those people that enabled you to do what you're doing and build on it. Because if you're starting from scratch, you don't need to. You can start from what they're doing. So I appreciate the fact that so many of today's NBA players do want to learn about the Wilt Chamberlains or the Bill Russells because I think we have such an engaged generation where, you know, I started following the NBA in the Jordan era where the line always attributed to him was what, Republicans wear sneakers too?
Right.
And that's very different than today's NBA players. They get out in front, they are standing up for what they believe, they want social change, they want equity. And I think that, you know, seeing this kind of film is going to be very educational for them too.
Yeah. Now, as a woman, you know how hard it is to get in this sports arena. I'm a Black woman. I know how it's even harder. And you were wrapped up in a situation with that, and you spoke about it. Tell me how you feel about it now, looking back, now that you have some distance from it.
Well, look, I have so much respect for what you are doing. There is no question that it is harder being a person of color in this world than it is being a white person in America. Like, that's just a fact. So I want to always have respect for that and never want to say anything that would imply I feel differently. I have a pretty long track record that demonstrates that's how I feel. I'm not a fan of someone taking 20 seconds of a 30-minute conversation and mashing it together to make something look like it wasn't, but that's okay. That's how the world works, and that's media. And I just have to have faith, and I think it's been rewarded that people know who I am. And that's been fun about, you know, the players that want to sit down for interviews with me or the guys at Showtime who want to work with me. That was the rewarding part of a, frankly, pretty difficult experience of people saying, you know, you've got 20 years of history here. That's what we're going on. And that felt pretty good. So I'll just every day try to get better and take it as it comes.
I feel like as women, though, we do have to go through difficult situations and just embrace the moment sometimes, right? And go with it.
100%. And the scrutiny is going to be different and the standards are going to be different and stuff that, frankly, I've seen male colleagues of mine, people haven't given a second look to. You and I have to deal with differently, and frankly, you have to deal with differently than I do. So I think it's just always important to remember that and keep fighting and know that progress moves forward. It's only gone in one direction so far. So that's the thing that when it gets really frustrating, I have faith in. Better than we were 10 years ago. Better than we were 20 years ago. I'm just going to keep pushing to make it there.
Now, you've been covering the NBA for a long time.
Yes.
Do you have some advice on how the WNBA could level up a little bit?
Well, I think what's interesting about the WNBA is that people don't really remember where the NBA was 20 years in, 25 years in. It wasn't on national TV. They didn't have live games. They didn't have the kind of media attention that they have now. The WNBA is actually ahead of the NBA in all those categories. National television deal, live games, salaries, endorsements. So while it can be very frustrating as a woman and someone who really, I have two daughters who they're into sports. I want them to succeed. I want them to have an even playing field. To be like, well, why isn't it all exactly even yet?
Right.
You have to I also do remember that it's a newer league. And that whether it's the soccer league, whether it's any other league, like newer leagues take time to convince people and take hold. And I think the WNBA is off to a good start. And you have to appreciate the NBA for all the support and money that, frankly, they put into the NBA. So
I love that you took time to talk to me. I just have one final question. For all the young women that are out there and they are watching you and you have such an amazing career, give us a piece of advice for you.
All right. So always be the last person to turn out the light. Always work as hard as you can. It makes more of a difference than you know. And then when people don't want to give you a chance, the fact that you just keep showing up is the thing that I have found kind of breaks those gender barriers a little bit. But the other flip side of that I always tell young women is, I say, no is a complete sentence, no period. Because I think that women are asked to justify, if they do want to say no to something, they have to justify it, right?
Right.
No, I can't because, no, I, whatever. And you have to put forward those reasons for men to consider and see if they're good enough.
Right.
You don't have to do that. Like, say yes most of the time because that's what will get you ahead. But if there's something that you don't want to do or you don't feel comfortable with, just say no. You don't have to say why. Say, oh, no, I'm actually not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you have to say. The boys do that. We can do it too.
That's such great advice from one of the vets in the game. Ladies, make sure you take note of that. And more to come from my time in Vegas, and you don't want to miss my exclusive convo with the commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, Breonna Stewart, Chelsea Gray, and so much more. So make sure you stay tuned.
Yeah, this league is a sisterhood. It's way more than just a game. It's an empire. A fearless empire. More side-swiping steals? Check. We got hoops, drive, and passion. Easy. More buckets, extra sauce? Order up. More dimension-defying dimes, more dancing than a Saturday night. Now this is what I call prime time. You see that?
This is Stewie, and you're watching Hardwood 94.
Welcome back to the Hardwood 94. We're your go-to for getting to know your favorite players and coaches, no matter who or where they are. Of course, I was doing a lot of moving and shaking and maybe even a little bit of dancing during the All-Star weekend. But thankfully, our correspondent Nick Hamilton was in Sin City as well, and he had a chance to catch up with NBA Hall of Famer Tracy McGrady and talk about Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, and what growth he's seen from the W. Nick, take it away.
Thanks, Jackie. Nick Hamilton here with the Hardwood 94 with the man himself, Mr. NBA, Tracy McGrady. T-Mac, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, I'm living life, baby.
Looking well, man. I'm glad to see you out here. What is the thing about Wilt Chamberlain that really intrigues you to want to be able to want to watch this film and learn more about him?
Yeah, well, he's one of the pioneers, one of our legends, icons of the game, guy that paved the way for us. Scored 100 points, man. You hear it all the time. That's, for me, being a scorer, I want to see how he scored those 100 points. You know what I mean? That's extreme dominance right there. But more importantly, learning more about the individual. We don't too much hear many stories about who Wilt was as a person. We hear about the athlete, but not the person, and that's what I want to learn more about.
Now, you are probably one of the most prolific scorers. You are in battles with a lot of different players. What is one thing about the late, great Kobe Bryant that still resonates with you this day that you learned from him?
Just his approach to the game. He never shortcutted the game. He didn't take it for granted. Everything that you want out of a basketball player and everything you try to get out of yourself as a basketball player, Kobe exhausted that. You know what I mean? And I think that's a lesson to be learned for a lot of kids. He sacrificed a lot of the entertainment part, which comes with the NBA, and just focused on his craft. And that's what he was locked into.
Now, we talk about Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Bryant was also very instrumental in supporting the women's game as well in the WNBA. We talk about, there's been a lot of buzz about the team, the NBA getting a team here in Vegas, obviously Seattle. But what about this team, this WNBA team here in Las Vegas with the likes of Asia Wilson? And you got other teams, obviously there's two super teams with the New York Liberty. There's other teams around the league. How have you seen the league grow in your estimation?
Just that as such. You look at what Breonna Stewart did, won a couple of championships in Seattle and decided to go team up with, the cast in New York to create somewhat of a super team. You look at what they have out here. I mean, stars on this team. I love the parity that the WNBA has now. I love the stars that they have in this league, and it's growing tremendously. I mean, if you even look at how college basketball was growing this year, I was locked in. I mean, it was so exciting to watch college girls basketball, and I think it's just going to continue to get better.
Now, lastly, Kevin Durant
Willie took some heat for a statement he made. He said, "Man, I think the game is more offensive driven than defensive driven." Basically, to paraphrase what he was saying. Do you feel like the game today has changed in that way, where it's still more offensive, or do you feel like defense still plays a major role in the game?
Well, defense definitely plays a major role, but I think it's offense driven. I mean, there's no shadow of a doubt about that. But defense plays a pivotal role until you win in the ultimate goal, and that's the championship.
Absolutely. Well, the one and only Tracy McGrady, T-Mac, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Nick. Now, see, I love NBA players and how they are not only supporting, but they are showing up and paying attention to the W. Now, in addition to work stuff, I had a chance to check out the fan fest known as WNBA Live, and it was indeed that. Fans were excited about it and had their chance to live out their hoop dreams. I lived out my hoop dreams at Stage 23, presented by Jordan Brand, and your girl got a few shots in. I still think I could do it, maybe. Probably not. I'm glad we're not showing that footage because I kind of embarrassed myself, but whatever. The orange carpet was a drip star-studded event that had the hottest fashions of the night, and I had a chance to speak with Chelsea Gray, Jewel Lloyd, Brianna Stewart, Nneka Ogwumike, and a few others. And for me, there was one true reigning queen of the orange carpet. Check it out and tell me who you think had the best drip of the night.
Commissioner, you look stunning. How did you pick your outfit?
Literally, I was at work on Tuesday. I had 20 minutes between Zooms, and I ran to Saks Fifth Avenue, that's right around the corner, walked up to the 3rd or 4th floor, walked around and said, this is it. So literally off the rack.
So how long did it take you to pick the outfit?
Literally 10 minutes.
I'm going to need to learn your shopping style. I've never picked an outfit that fast.
One floor at that store. I'm either Bloomingdale's or Saks, but this one was Saks Fifth Avenue because it's right around the corner from the office.
How much fun are you having right now?
Oh, so much fun. It's so great to see WNBA Live here take on 75,000 square feet, and all of our WNBA change makers standing up, things like AT&T's doing and Nike and US Bank. It's so fun to Google and see everything over there. Starry, I tried the 3-point for Starry today, didn't do well. Air ball.
To be fair, I got hit in the face with a ball too.
Oh, okay. At least I didn't get hit in the face with the ball. But, you know, just to see the growth and see what Sabrina Ionescu did out there in the 3-point competition today. What'd they say? 27 of 29 shots, all-time record NBA or WNBA. And I'm really looking forward to the game tomorrow.
In our press conference earlier, we were talking about expansion, and KP had mentioned that for her, she thinks that maybe we should focus on getting this right, things like charter and more higher salaries. What is your thought on that?
Yeah, we're in a multi-dimensional business transformation. We're taking the $75 million of capital we raised. We're growing revenue, which is going to fund the things the players want over time. But Rome wasn't built in a day, so we're deploying that over a 3 to 5 year period. We just raised it last year, doing really well. We're ahead of the plan. So this is all good news for these players and the next generation. We're trying to set the league up, not just for the next 3 to 5 years, but the next 30 to 40. So we got to stick with the plan, expansion, other player benefits. We've got to get a great media deal in the next round of negotiations on that after the 25 season. That's going to set us up.
Now, with expansion, I'm going to admit I'm a little selfish. I'm from Denver.
Okay.
Any chance?
Denver's certainly on the list. So I did tell people I'm going to start visiting markets this summer, more markets, and Denver's one of those. I'll be visiting.
Sarai.
You already familiar with the mic. I like that, Sarai. Like, you're going to be a future journalist? What you going to be when you grow up?
A gymnastics person.
And what's your name?
Josiah.
And what do you want to be when you grow up?
Basketball and baseball player.
Okay, well, I think you have somebody that can help you out with that basketball. Do you work out? Do you play with him and teach him the fundamentals?
Oh, they're so good. They keep me on my toes all the time. So as much as I'm able to hang out with them and kind of just see where their growth is, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. How does having them by your side, how does that really just complement everything you do, including your play?
It's awesome. It's my why. You know, they keep me afloat. They help me with my focus. They give me goals every game, and they're fun to talk to, and they're good people. So they're family, and I love them.
How is an All-Star break really good just to have this break and have fun?
It's nice to kind of gather your thoughts, take a break mentally in the season, have a little fun for us, see family, and then be ready to go.
What's one thing about the W as far as growth that you've seen that you're really proud of, and what's an area that you think they really still need to grow?
In the whole, I think the players have done a great job of being really good, getting better, and that's seen a increase in scoring, just the fast pace of the game, and that's helped a lot, I think, with viewership as well, because the game it's growing and getting better. I think overall, for us, is just making sure that the players are taken care of all around. You know, obviously the big thing is charting flights and just feeling, you know, appreciated on our side. So there's always room for improvement on that side.
If you could pick one place where the expansion team would be, what would be the first city that you would pick to do that?
Honestly, Earlier I said Denver. I threw that out there just
Yay,
because,
where I'm from.
yeah, I feel like they don't get talked about enough, but it's a good vibe city out there. And obviously with the championship now, basketball's on the rise, so you might as well, hit that target now.
Okay, so tell me about your outfit.
Yeah, to me it's pretty simple. I want to be comfortable, not too dramatic, but something I could wear again. So I'm excited for it. City did a great job, so it's my stylist.
Thank you so much, Jewel. All right, so I'm just gonna have a moment of honesty. I saw Nneka walk on the carpet and I said, damn, girl, you look amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is beautiful. I heard you say that your stylist she caters it to you.
Yeah.
What are the conversations you guys have about that?
So I just tell her that I want to express myself with my clothes and really everything that I do. I want everything that I do in life to be a form of expression. And she helped me with that. She helped me understand the impact of colors, the impact of confidence, and just establishing like certain ways of being in this world and existing in this world. And that's kind of like where we get the outfits from. And I'm also someone that's like not afraid to try new things. So she's helped me kind of step outside of that comfort zone.
Here in Vegas and Phoenix, there's a lot of branding around the teams that they have. And in LA, there's no real branding for the Sparks around crypto and things of that nature. What's the issue with that and how can that change?
Well, I mean, I think that we have to really identify ourselves as a part of Championship City. It's important to understand the history and the legacy of this league, and especially the Sparks and the LA Sparks and organization of the league, and what it means to the sustainability of the success we want to see. And of course, where we really envision ourselves. And I think that truly identifying ourselves with that, finding resources and investment in that way is something that can hopefully help establish us without question as a member of Championship City.
Now, I know the legacy with the purple and gold and why, the Lakers and the relationship there, but crypto, formerly Staples, is a massive arena. Do you think it would be better to have a smaller arena and an arena that, first of all, is yours?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful. Before we talk about arenas, we need to talk about practice facilities. And I'm very grateful to be a part of a team that's played in such an iconic arena. But I really think that it's important that, we kind of consider where we're at and where we want to go and what it means for the identity of the teams. We see a lot of teams selling out arenas that aren't necessarily the same as crypto, and it works. And I think that there's models that we can adapt that cater more towards our league and not the league that established us.
Okay, so I want to do this imagination thing. So imagine that you are the commissioner for the day. Tell me everything you would change first and foremost.
I can't do that in a day.
Oh, okay. How long you need?
I need long. It's not an easy job.
Okay, tell me you're commissioner for 3 years.
I mean, the first thing that I would probably tackle really is what I think is kind of like the crux of some of the disjointed nature of some of the things that we experience, is like just really getting to know the players, listen to the players, and understanding that we're all a part of the business, which is something we're working on now. And then, of course, tackling the things that are most pertinent, because the players are the ones that really know. And we understand that there's a business to be run, but the business can't do well if the product isn't doing well. And in layman's terms, the players are the product, but realistically, they're the ones that drive the culture of this business.
Now, I talk to Chanae a lot, and I tell her I think she needs to rock some bangs. She said you've been getting on her about
her to rock bangs for a long time.
Is there a reason?
For a long time. Chanae doesn't like taking risks.
Are bangs a risk?
For her, yes. We're going to get there. Because she always realizes when I say something that it ends up working out.
So just listen.
Yeah, she just needs to listen.
You heard it here first. Listen. I'm good. Ready? You look amazing. The first thing I noticed was the bling on the hands, though. Was that part of the outfit, or did you just say, "Oh, it is"?
Yeah, this is part of the outfit. I mean, it's like an accessory, but yeah. I'm just going silver right now.
I love it.
Silver.
I love it. How did the conversation about Unrivaled start? How did that start? What was the very first conversation?
So the very first conversation was with Alex Bazel, who is Nafisa's husband.
Okay.
We met in New York City, and he was like, "I have this idea, and want your and Fee's help, kind of making it happen." And from there, that was in December, and you look now, we're 6, 7, 8 months later, and there's like a real potential of this league happening, and I think that it's a way to, keep players home, keep players in market, build their brands, which can also build women's sports.
Right. And now with building women's sports, you have the Puma deal. Is that helping build the W as well, those kinds of deals?
For sure. I think, my Puma deal is one of one for sure, but just the way that they're continuing to kind of go all in for women's basketball, for the WNBA, they're setting a standard for the rest of everybody else to kind of follow.
Now, earlier during the press conference, it seemed like you were getting a little emotional as Brittany talked. Can you tell me what you were feeling?
Yeah, just emotional, and it's good emotions. Happy that she's there. Happy she's kind of back in the WNBA, but also really thriving. And seems like she's kind of found her place and found her happy place. And I keep saying the same thing, but I just think she's really an inspiration. To not only come back home and be functioning as a normal person, she's functioning as one of the best basketball players in the world.
All right, I want us to put our imagination hat on, right? So let's imagine that you were commissioner for a day. What would be the first thing that you would change?
How many things can I change in a day?
You change whatever you want, and you're the commissioner.
Okay. First thing I'm changing is we're just gonna get the charters out the way. We're gonna get the charters. That's done. I'm gonna make sure that when the media rights deal is up, that we are getting every penny of our worth, and in turn, that'll kind of change the dynamic of the CBA and everything else that comes with that.
Goodbye. Chelsea Gray, look, your whole swag. I've been hearing you talk about your outfit the whole way down, but what I didn't know is you picked the fabric yourself?
Yeah, I picked the fabric myself over in Turkey.
So did you know what cut you wanted? Did you?
Yeah, I like kind of had a little inspiration of what I kind of wanted, and I just kind of put it together with a sleeker, slim fitting.
You always so fly. I just assumed you had a stylist. I was like, oh,
I do. I use sitting board and arrow sometimes, but this is I was ready for this.
Yeah, I see. Okay, I have to ask you. Your skin is popping. What's your skincare regimen?
Whatever my wife tells me to put on my face, honestly.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, what about your teammates? I heard you earlier say, where are y'all? Did you find out what they was doing while they were late to the press conference?
I have no idea what was going on. They're always been yelling at me about something, so they were late.
They were. All right, now, you're the point guard, right? But the God needs to appoint other people as well. So can you tell me 5 people that you would appoint to live in that God status with you?
Nah.
It could be NBA, WNBA.
I feel like the point guard is just me. So
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You having so much fun out here. You and KP have a great relationship. You and everybody have a great relationship.
Yeah.
How did that just flow naturally?
Yeah, it just took time getting to know each other and having good conversations and trusting and having the faith in each other that they're going to compete every single time they get on the court.
Have you ever worn anything your wife didn't approve of?
Yeah.
And then what happens?
She's just like, okay, maybe it look better later.
I don't care what y'all say, Nneka did the damn thing with that outfit. And what do I always say? She is so regal. So all hail queen of the orange carpet, Miss Nneka Ogwumike. And coming up, the big game for the WNBA All-Stars did not disappoint, so stay tuned.
A dark spirit has cursed this house.
Surprise. Is anybody else seeing this? Wait! If we don't stop him, we could be trapped here forever. Disney's Haunted Mansion. Did he look human? Sorta. He carried his head in a hat box. What part of that is sorta? Rated PG-13. Get tickets now.
Welcome back to the Hardwood 94. Now, besides the hot weather, there were some hot parties going on as well, from Clutch Sports to the Boardroom to Candace Parker's exclusive party to the Jordan Brand party. I was tired, but when the big day arrived, the ladies from Team Wilson and Team Stewart were ready to put on a show. From Brittany Griner's dunk to Asia Wilson and Chelsea finding their groove, Jewel Lloyd found her way to an MVP and a grown-up size trophy this year. It was amazing to see all of this happen in front of a sellout crowd. I absolutely will say this was a productive weekend for your girl. The Usher residency was absolutely the icing on the cake. Y'all, he was skating around. I don't even want to get into that. But it was a whole moment. And did I mention that already? I might be dwelling on that. But that leads me into Jackie Ray, what you say. And this is not me going to go off on a rant about things that should change. More about a little bit of courtesy. Last year, this time, we were all saying one thing: free BG or bring BG home. It was our entire focus. But since she's been back, it kind of still is our entire focus. One of the things that really stood out to me as a journalist being there was that was the question that most people were asking. Sure, they changed it up here and there, but it was always the underlying theme. How's your mental? How does it feel being back? How is your practice going? What is something that you're doing to kind of ease your mind and make you forget? We are asking her these questions all while she's grooving behind the commissioner. She's joking around. She's enjoying the music. She is probably one of the happiest individuals during the whole WNBA All-Star weekend, and it really stood out to me. And I think that sometimes we forget that people need to get over things. They need to get past things. And while we are still dwelling on Russia, she is doing her best to move on with her life. So all I'm saying is maybe we as journalists need to be a little bit more courteous, need to not remind her of probably the worst time in her life, and certainly probably the worst thing that will ever happen to her. Let's let her live. Let's enjoy the smile on her face, and let's really welcome BG home with love. And that's it. That's all I gotta say about Jackie Ray What You Say. We hope you enjoyed our All-Star special, and I also want to send a huge congrats to Dwayne Wade, who officially joined the ownership group of the Chicago Sky. And congrats to Phoenix on hosting the 2024 All-Star Game, but can we get some cooler places in the summer to host All-Star Weekend? Like maybe LA? Come on, Commissioner, help me out.
Obviously we put out a process, an RFP, a process for all of our teams to bid on the next 3 years of All-Stars. And obviously with the arena situation in LA previously, I think as they've looked at, obviously with the Clippers playing there and the Lakers playing there and, the concerts and everything they do there, they've been taking a look at that, their arena situation. But, certainly LA would be a top market, Hollywood, entertainment capital, sports capital, great sports town. And so, yeah, absolutely, we would consider LA, but it would be up to, the team ownership to make that bid to us and us to consider that bid. But LA would be a great city. Every time I go out there, I'm always impressed. Always have a great time. Love where it is near LA Live. Can you imagine WNBA Live by LA Live? I think that would be fun. I know the ESPYs were just out that way. And obviously all the award shows. So yeah, LA would definitely be on the list.
Yeah, LA would definitely be amazing. Now, it's the second half of the season. Let's see who will finish atop of the W and who gets closer to playing for the championship trophy. Until then, we've got you covered on all things W. Once again, I'm your host, Jackie Ray. The game is over, and we will see you next time on the Hardwood 94.